Okay, so I know I've been MIA for a while. Trust me, I'm more upset about it than you. As you can probably hear in my voice, I've been recovering from the nastiest cold that I have ever gotten in recent memory. But anyway, I just thought I would come on camera and destroy some of the makeup that I've been meaning to get rid of for a while now for one reason or another. So first is this Milk Touch My Cheek blush. This is in the shade 01 Pure Apricot, and it is just the most unflattering pale apricot, like corally shade, except not corally in the warm sun-kissed way. It just makes me look like I'm unwell, like I have jaundice or something, so getting rid of that. Next up are these Barbie themed palettes that I picked up in Miniso on a trip to China. This was back like right after the Barbie movie came out, and this has got to be, so far, the biggest disparity I've experienced between how good the presentation of the palette looks, how good the presentation of the makeup looks versus the performance. Because the presentation is totally on theme, on brand. They delivered on that Barbie aesthetic to the T. But then the formula itself, it is, I'm gonna say, worse than Claire's. Like, it was, talk about low pigmentation, it was no pigmentation whatsoever. Even the blush palette back there, you see that classic hot Barbie pink. Yeah, that is not how it came off on the cheeks. It was streaky. There was barely any color payoff whatsoever. This formula, whatever it was, did not come off as makeup to me. It just came off as, I don't know, like imitation makeup for display purposes is what this entire collection was giving. So yeah, it's a shame because the packaging itself is so perfect, Barbie to a T. But you know what? It is satisfying to destroy this on camera, so I don't regret picking these up. Alright, now this item is probably the saddest and also grossest item of the bunch today, and you're gonna see in a second very soon why. Can you guys spot the problem here? Do you see it? Do you see the mold growing on the upper right hand, like coffee brown shade? The worst part is that I literally just used this palette for a recent Halloween look and I didn't even notice the mold growing on it until after filming. Thank God I didn't use the brown shade, but yeah, even though there was just that tiny bit over there in the corner, I'm obviously gonna have to throw this entire palette out. Looking back through my history, I initially purchased and reviewed this palette on my channel back in November of 2022. This is the 3CE New Take eyeshadow palette in creative filter, by the way. So it's had pretty much a 3-year run, which is not bad. It looks like shockingly unused for me owning it for that amount of time, right? But I must say, I do think that I reached for this palette relatively frequently over a lot of my others. The cool toned, like mid-toned pink shade in the middle there, that was one of my favorite pink shades of all time. And I don't know if you'll notice, as I was crushing up these shadows, I noticed that the matte shades were pressed so much harder than the glittery shades or the glittery formulations. It was like night and day. The matte shades were so dense to get through, almost like a brick, while the glittery shades were, you could slice through them like butter. I know I'm probably stating the obvious, but it was just interesting to actually feel that with my hands, you know? Like, I was getting hand cramps at one point trying to crumble up the mattes. But yeah, we cannot have any mold in our makeup. That's a huge no-no, so thank you to this very special 3CE palette. I bid it adieu with love. It was my go-to bright pink, but still like kind of cool toned palette for a long time, and I really did love this packaging design as well. And here I'm going to get rid of my Unleashia Tap Me duo in number 2, Groovy. This little palette duo thing didn't do anything wrong. It didn't grow any mold out of it, thank God. As you can see, I actually hit pan in the glitter pan on the bottom half there. I really did enjoy this glitter actually, but the reason I'm getting rid of this palette is because I've just had it for so long. I feel like it's past its expiry date. Also, I personally just don't reach for this type of a shade anymore. I remember back then I was really into the terracottas and like the caramelly browns. These days I'm more into pink, so yeah, I just know that I will not be getting much use out of this palette moving forward, and I've already had it for so long, so might as well let go.